What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and we're going to go over the charts. We're going to take a look at some very interesting things. They're very old charts that are all coming down to the wire right now. So definitely stick around for the whole video. I'm also going to show you a BNB chart and show you what I've been talking about in Binance for a very long time. We have hit a very key area, and I talked about bouncing around here. And if this area breaks, all markets are in trouble, and it's not because of BNB. It is because of the situation the markets are in. A lot of people don't seem to understand that a lot of these exchanges and everything else are kind of just like banks. They leverage on a bunch of stuff, and when everything goes sour in the markets, it's bad for all of them. But let's take a look at the charts. Let's see what's going on. And remember, guys, this is the big view. I'm not looking at the 5-minute chart, none of that stuff. So definitely stick around for the whole video. You'll probably learn something, and make sure you smash that thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think is in store for all markets. Do you think the Fed rate is going to go up again? Do you think it's going to stay even? What do you think on that? I'm curious to everybody's thoughts. Let's get into it. Let's see what's going on. And also, make sure your notification bells are ticked. A lot of people told me that their notifications were turned off, so double check that. Anyways, let's see what's going on. So BMGI, I think we are witnessing the biggest money grab in history. Now, as you know, the traditional stocks pumped up last week, and all because of AI, and it was all over the news, and they were getting everybody hyped about it. And NVIDIA's literally done nothing since, just sitting there. So just be careful what you watch in the news. If you hear about something on the news and they're pushing something really hard, best thing you can do is stay away from it, right? So let's take a look at what's going on. Could we see these lows soon, by the end of this year, maybe next year, all the way down here for the Dow Jones at 22,000? Let's take a look at the daily chart. And so this is what we've been talking about. We did get a little spike above our trend line there, which doesn't really mean much. We spiked above it here, but remember, on Fridays, the markets like to pump. So we're also going to take a look at Bitcoin's bullish case scenario, very bullish case scenario, along with the bearish case, which I pretty much am still on the bearish side. No, I'm definitely on the bearish side for Bitcoin in the medium term, and I'll show you why in the charts. But we still have this target down here at 30,221. Remember, guys, here was the high for the markets. If we spike above that, I don't think it'll last long before crashing down, although I don't even think we'll break this high in the Dow Jones. Let's look at the DXY. DXY is in this area. I showed you guys our bounce areas right here. We could still get down to these bounce levels if the markets are going to pump. You know, on Fridays, they like to pump the markets. Not to say it has to, because we've seen some of the biggest dumps in history on Friday in the market too. So something to be aware of. But nevertheless, I think we get back up to, even if we get down to these levels, we come back up to the 106 range for the DXY. Once this breaks, we hold support, looking for 108. Once that breaks, 112. And possibly much higher. We'll be keeping a close eye on this. Remember, guys, looking at the big picture, DXY is not dead. It is not dead. Oil. So this chart is very old. We talked about it breaking over here, right? So what I'm looking for, we talked about the possible scenario of bouncing around this area. Once this trend line breaks for oil, guys, I'm looking for like a $27 oil. Now, right now, if it was to happen in the next couple days, would be around, if we break that 71 again. Now, it doesn't mean we can't come up a little bit higher afterwards. Or actually, about 67. So if we break that 67, I don't think the 62 will hold. We may get a bounce there, come back up for a retest, maybe around the 70 range before coming down. But nevertheless, this area matches up with a lot of other charts, right? And I'm going to show you that here in a few. And definitely on BNB, guys, be careful if you are on Binance. That's all I got to say about that. And I'll show you why. The chart I'm going to show you on Binance is like 7 months old, right? Happened around the time FTX collapsed. Now, people been asking about Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. So this is the macro on Tesla. You guys know my buy range is around 40 to 50 bucks, right? Same thing, just a big bubble pop pattern. We had our big capitulation here. Now we are getting a run up. Let's take a look at where this could go. In the pre-markets as of right now, the market's probably open as of when this video gets out, but 249 is where it's at on the pre-markets, which 236 is our 0.382 fib. Should be a rejection area. If not, does look like we could be forming a rising wedge here for Tesla. The top of this wedge is around 246. So let's see where the market opens. If we get above this, right, then we could clone this line here, bring it up. We could see around this 294. And that's just the neckline of this whole move right here, right? We've not been able to break that next neckline at our tests. Nevertheless, even if we get up to them ranges, I still see a massive collapse in Tesla. We had our bounce areas. These are super old from when we broke over here, right? 211, we got a little bounce. 183, we got a little bounce. And then I had the blue areas marked as major bounce zones. We broke through the 151. We got to our 106. Got a big massive bounce, came back, tested the 151, which is just a 0.786 fib, right? And then we formed what seems to be a bull flag, right? We talked about this. I drew this in, I don't know, last week, I think it was. The measured move of the break up there gets us around 240 to 245, right? Now, in the very bullish case scenario, we measure this whole area as a flagpole, right? Let's do this. Actually, I like to measure it from where it broke, and it broke right here. Put that up to the top of the flag. That gets us that 294, actually 290 to 295 area, which would be this top trend line. If we do get up to there, I would be interested in some major shorts there. But nevertheless, I'm still looking to be a buyer around 40 to 50 bucks. Also, you can look here at all these highs, right? Go from right here to where we're at now. Even if we get up to that 295, look at this, higher highs in the RSI, lower highs in the price action. In a downtrend, it's still a downtrend, is hidden bearish divergence. That is a continuation of the trend. Now, before we get into Bitcoin and Binance, definitely stick around, but I'm going to show you the sponsor of these videos is Prime XBT, by far my favorite exchange. They don't trade against you. You can use my promo codes Savvy50 and get up to a $7,000 bonus to use towards your margin. Savvy25 will get you 25% off your fees. Link is down below. I'll also leave a tutorial at the end of the video. It'll pop up here, so definitely watch for that. As you guys know, if you do want to trade on Prime, you can trade for free joining the contest section. That way you can get familiar with the exchange, guys. Remember, if you're new to trading, trade the contest. Don't put your hard-earned money in if you don't know what you're doing yet. Get a strategy. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you win the contest, you can actually win tradable funds and then keep your winnings off the funds. So without any risk of your own, you can actually make money on it. Definitely check them out. All you need is the email. Links down below. Let's get into, and you can trade Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, traditional markets, everything all from one exchange, guys. So you don't have to switch back and forth. Let's look at the daily on Bitcoin. We had talked about this falling wedge here with the target being 31.5. We did not quite hit the 31.5. Now let's zoom in and take a look at the bullish and the bearish case, right? And then we'll go into the 4 hour, and then I'll show you that Binance chart. So if we look here, as you guys can see, let's move this. I don't know how this got moved, but there we go. We had this target of 25.3. We didn't quite hit it. We got really close, right? Now we're getting our bounce up. If we break back above this trend line here, let's take a measured move. Down a little bit more. All right, so if we take a measured move, the widest point of the wedge, if we do break up here, could get us as high as 33,000. Now that would wipe out all the shorts, obviously, and then come back down and take out the longs. But be careful here because we have some major resistance at the 29. So we could get a fake out, come up here, and then come back down. If we do get above that 29, then we look for 33. But in the bearish case, we come down and we break this 200 EMA, which is also the bottom of this wedge. And that gets us down to approximately, depending on how long it would take to get there, approximately 19,800, 19,900. That would be retesting this trend line. And then we would probably get another bounce up. And that would be looking something like this as a possible huge head and shoulders, right? And then what would the measured move of that be? If we break down here before hitting this high, right? Then this would be our measured move right here. And depending on where it broke, would get us down to as low as 9,600. You guys that watch this channel know that I do believe it is possible we get down to 3,500. Still in the cards, still a possibility. Could see that by the end of this year, but at least the 96 is what I'm looking for. Even if we get up to this high, this will just wipe out a bunch of shorts to come back down, get everybody bullish, and then take all their money. Right here, we have our low at about 32. It's right about 33,000. So if it wicked above that, it would get everybody bullish before coming down. So that's something to watch for in a bullish case. Although I'm still looking for the bearish case scenario. And again, we can look at all these lower highs in the RSI, higher highs in the price action, hidden bearish divergence in a massive bear trend. Guys, look at this chart. Everybody's saying the bottom is in. I'm going to show you some more charts after we take a look at BNB. I'm going to show you some more charts of what this whole pattern is. All right, so here we are back to looking at that big breakout right here. We were looking for the 31.5, didn't quite get it. As you guys know, I shorted 29.2, took profits on that. But we have this wave count here on the 4 hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Our third wave would get us down to this 23. Now, again, this gets invalidated, obviously, if we break up past this top level. But as of right now, we're getting rejected at the 55 EMA on the 4 hour. Our 200 EMA lies around 27,150. I do think this is a broadening wedge. We got a fake out right here. But again, if we come back down and break this again, I think it's going to be pretty quick and pretty swift. And when that happens, if that happens, I think BNB will show it, oil will show it, everything. That's when the real scary stuff for the bulls happens. This is not doom and gloom. There is so much opportunity here. I'm trying to show you guys, right? So if this was to happen, 23.5-ish, get a bounce back up, retest the bottom of this between 25.3. Hold on a minute, guys. Between 25.3 and 26, somewhere in that range, to get a rejection, come back down, break this low, and coming down to test our trend line about 20,800-ish, right? Now, you guys remember what happened with FTX right here, right? Got a huge rally up, came back down, broke this support line, came back down, bounced around in this area for a while, creating a descending triangle or wedge, whatever you want to call this, right? Once this broke, it was super bad. Why? Because they were leveraging on FTT, you know, using that as their money, basically scamming people. Now, BNB, Binance's coin, same type thing. Here's our big break right there, just like we had over here. And then we're making this triangle. This is more of a descending triangle we're making here, right? You could call it a wedge, whichever. But I had told you guys right here, this 256.7. I've been showing you this forever. This chart is super old. If we do break this bottom trend line, say if we break that 256.7 range, it's probably going to get pretty ugly pretty fast. But one thing I do want to point out, even over here, once we broke, we came back up, broke back above a little bit, tried to get back above it. We made it once, but we didn't close above it, right? So once we come down below this, as long as we don't open and close the daily be above this 256.7, that's super bearish. If we open and close a candle below this trend line, guys, on the daily, it is bad news for BNB, which is bad news for Bitcoin, or yeah, Bitcoin too, but Binance in my opinion, right? Now, let's take a look at bubble pop patterns, right? This is the Amazon compared to Bitcoin chart. This is where the bubble began. This is where the bubble ended. It always comes back to where it started. And I showed you guys this weekly trend break. I missed it. I thought it would be in February or March, and I thought this was kind of a fake out when we broke in November. But if you watch my videos back 2 years ago, I drew this all out, right? I was talking about November possibly being the false bottom because everybody thinks that it has to bottom every 4 years and then top every 4 years, right? So that'd be a good place to trick people. And as you can see, we made our move up, and I think we are going to continue making our lower low. Like I said, between 3,500 and 9,600. Now let's take a look at another bubble pop. This is Nintendo, right? Nintendo, here's where the bubble started. Here's where the bubble ended, right? Down in this area. I still think we're going down. This one resembles Bitcoin a lot, as you can see where it topped out here, where I believe Bitcoin topped out here. Let's take a look at another one. So this is Sony. Same thing. Began over here, ended over here. Same type thing, guys. I think we end somewhere in this area for Bitcoin. Be cautious, be careful. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Let me know, do you think Bitcoin's in a bubble? I know most people don't. I still do. Everything in the charts points to it, guys. The only thing that the bears really have, right? The only thing they really have is the 4-year cycle. The 4-year cycle only worked when traditionals were in a bull market. I believe one of the biggest traditional bear markets this world has seen is coming. So just be careful. Biggest money grab in history. Do you believe that? Type in the comments yes or no if you think the biggest money grab in history is underway. Take it easy, guys. I am out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.